The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Gwilda Wiyaka's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the Science of Magic or endorsed in any manner by Gwilda Wiyaka, rel-mar McConnell Media Company, its affiliated networks, stations, or employees. Welcome to the Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, a program dedicated to uncovering the unified nature of reality and humanity's ever-evolving place as truly galactic beings. For more information on the Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, visit us online at www.thescienceofmagic.net.
Hello, dear friends, and welcome to the Science of Magic, a program combining the science and magic of today's leading topics to co-create new solutions and promote evolutionary thought. I'm your host, Gwilda Wiyaka. This hour we'll be exploring Drum to Wake Your Soul. The drum is an ancient sacred tool used by indigenous shamans across the globe. Some use the mechanical wave produced by the drumming to restore balance and effect physical healing. Some use drumming to alter brainwaves in order to enter a shamanic trance state. From the shamanic trance, the practitioner is able to accurately divine information or affect vibrational changes at the quantum mechanical level of life. One of many traditional spiritual healings performed by shamans worldwide is often referred to as soul retrieval. To perform a soul retrieval, the shaman rides the drum beat to the land of trance to find where a person is disconnected from part of his or her power as a result of trauma and return their power to them. What is the land of trance or spiritual realm? Scientific studies have shown that through the use of drumming and ritual, the shamanic practitioner can consistently alter their brainwaves from the normal waking state of beta to alpha and in some cases theta at will. This produces an interactive dream through which the practitioner can access quantum-level information. Studies on drum circles have shown that before drumming, the participants' heartbeats will be vastly different. But just after 10 minutes of synchronized drumming, their heartbeats will have been trained and beat as one. What is the magic of the drum? Why has it been so widely used for more than 50,000 years? Can it be of help to the people of today? With us this hour to explore the multifaceted power of the drum is Yolanda Martinez. Yolanda is of Apache, Comanche, and Hispanic descent. She's also an artist, composer, award-winning singer-songwriter, an international performer, a spiritual teacher, and a master drum maker, named so by her people. Yolanda started the Central Valley Moon Gatherings with women in California. She's been very active in teaching and organizing the spiritual way of the woman and the balance between herself, her family, and Mother Earth. Using her drums and her songs, Yolanda works through her music. Her website, yolandadrums.com. Yolanda, thank you so much for joining us on the Science of Magic.
Thank you, Gwilda. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here.
I've just really been looking forward to working with you. Where did you learn to build drums?
Actually, the gift came from Spirit. At the time, I was in the corporate world. I had graduated high school and couldn't afford to go to school, so I decided I better get a career going. And so back in like 86, I started getting this call, like a knock on a door. And Spirit was starting to whisper, Yolanda, Yolanda, where are you? And this is how this whole journey started for me.
So what style of drums do you make?
I do the Native American hand drums, and I also make the big ceremonial drums, what I call the grandmother drums.
Mm-hmm. So do you use the hand drums? Do you use the Lakota style, or which style do you do?
I use the Yolanda style.
The one that Spirit gave you, right?
That's right. The one that came through for the people that that I have been making and connecting people with, that connects them with Earth Mother, with themselves, with, everything that is.
Yeah, we're going to, in a little bit, get into the connective powers of the drum. Just so we know, what materials do you tend to use when you're building your drums?
I use hoops that are made from maple, and then I also use birch hoops, and I use the elk, deer, cow, horse, moose. Watch out, you might lose your hide.
You don't want my hide, trust me. So what does it mean to be a master drum maker?
Well, when this all started, I fought it, because I knew nothing about drums or traditions or anything like that. We didn't get to grow up on the reservation or anything, so I was detached from all of that. And when I started this journey, I thought it was going to be okay. It'll be a fun hobby, and it just kept steamrolling. It was like a snowball that just kept growing and growing. And when I was told that, I'll tell you this story. I was in New York. There was this wonderful festival that a friend of mine took me to, and this is when I first came out with my drums over here on the East Coast. And one day, it was like my 4th year of doing the show, and one day this young man came, and it was like a lull during the show, so I was in the booth, and he came in, and he's looking at the drums, and I'm talking with him, and I'm telling him about the drums and stuff, and he says, "You're the drum woman." And I go, I guess, you call me that. And he says, yes. He says, you know that you're well known. I go, no. He says, yes. He says, you have become the drum master. And I almost started crying.
Wow. Yeah.
And I said, what do you mean? He says, that's what the people call you, the drum master. So that's where that came from.
I find that so interesting because, in our society, the Western society as it is now, people have to go to school and get all these things behind their name to be a doctor or whatever. And then those credentials say that they are a doctor. But in the old ways and in the ways of my teachers, the people decided what you were, not your letters behind your name or even you yourself, but the people decided if you were a healer or if it was by word of mouth. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I think we're having trouble with that transition now too, because a lot of the older traditions that are trying to come back, you don't get letters behind your name, and then a lot of the new age people are picking them up and not doing the studies and calling themselves that. So
exactly.
we're really in a transitional time. Yeah. So how did what's involved in being a drum maker versus just building drums?
Well, you need to understand what the drum is, and you need to understand that it's not just, a hide that you're stretching over this ring. When the way this all came and the way I still work in making my drums, when I receive, because I work with full hides. I get them, the full hides from the tannery that I've been working with for over 30 years.
Yeah. What size do you usually work in, dear? What size hoop?
Well, I do 10, 12, 14, 16, and 18 for the hand drums.
Oh, great. So then depending on the size of the person, you can get something that fits between their hand and the bend of their arm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The size of the person as far as how big a drum they want, how heavy, because the bigger they are, the heavier they get.
Mm-hmm.
And, and it's about understanding that, these animals, there's no accidents. To me, they've given of themselves to come and become these instruments.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when I receive them, I unwrap them and I thank them and I sage them and I talk to them. And I mean, it's a whole process. It's a lot more than just knowing how to stretch a hide around a hoop.
So you walk in the blessing way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That
We
transmutes
must.
everything, doesn't it? It doesn't matter how the
Yes.
animal was killed, but we can transmute that trauma by giving blessing and gratitude when we're working with it. And I think that's true of everything. And we'll pick up on the blessing way, but we are going to have to take a little bit of a break. So it's time for that commercial break. Yolanda and I will return shortly. So don't you guys go away. Remember, our current episodes are internationally broadcast and aired daily through the TSOM Broadcast Network. Past thought-provoking episodes are always available free of charge on our website, thescienceofmagic.net. This is The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka on our wonderful TSOM Broadcast Network. You can tune in to us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
You have heard of the X-Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, Sci-Fi, and Horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Modern Esoteric, Beyond Our Senses by Brad Olson, consummates the lifology story about where humanity originates. It is the lost continents, the primitive wisdom, the mythos of creation, and the rethinking of ancient history as we are taught in academia. There is much more to the story than what we have been told. As this is the first book in the Esoteric series, Modern Esoteric starts at the beginning of time and accelerates up to this modern age. Future Esoteric is book 2 in the series and takes a forward-looking position ahead of today with an open and honest examination of the ET issue and various unexplained phenomena. To discover the writings of author Brad Olson, visit www.bradolson.com. That's www.bradolson.com.
Welcome back. This is The Science of Magic. dedicated to unification and evolution of consciousness. I'm your host, Gwilda Wiyaka. Our guest this hour is master drum maker Yolanda Martinez. She's an artist, composer, award-winning singer-songwriter, international performer, and spiritual teacher. Her website, yolandasdrums.com. Yolanda, we were talking about the blessing way, and I think that's really an important point because there's a lot of controversy around using animal hides, animal fur, even though it's the traditional way. And I think what's overlooked there is, like the example I like to give is, say I'm given a bowl from China, and I might boycott buying that bowl because the people in China that make the bowls are mistreated. However, if instead we give gratitude for all the pieces that went into the bowl and for the hands that made it, we can transmute that. And gratitude transmutes everything. And apparently you use that a lot in your drum building. Would you speak to that?
Yes, when I started doing this at every, show, every powwow and stuff that I would be showing at, inevitably I would get the people that are against the using of rawhide, the killing of animals, and all of this. So it was also a great way for me to grow and learn from this as well. And as you say, what I would tell them is, so you are saying that, these animals that are being killed, for food and for whatever reason, you're saying it's better that we just throw away this hide. These, I said the people when in the old ways when we would kill something, of course it was a total different ritual, but we used everything, and animals are not afraid of dying. They do not, they don't get angry because you're killing them for food and stuff. They are willing and they're happy to give, and as you said, we are honoring these animals instead of them just ending up in the trash. We are creating powerful, beautiful instruments that are touching people.
Do you use sacred geometry in your drum making, such as sacred numbers and shapes?
Yes, that came in a few years back. It's constantly, I'm like everything and everyone, we're constantly evolving. And the information of, because I love sacred geometry and it is so powerful, very powerful in everything in our world. And so the first one that came was the spiral, Mm-hmm. The spiral is in all the caves and all the petroglyphs all around the world. So that was the first one that came. And from there, I went to the four directions, the starburst, the hummingbird, the saguaro, like a cactus or a person standing with their arms, up towards heaven, and on and on. So yes, I did get that. And I do use sacred geometry, and it puts that symbol and that energy into these drums along with everything, the standing people, the four-legged, and then the energy that I put into it.
So let me see if I'm understanding what you're saying. So the materials that you use to build the drum each have their own unique frequency, whether you use what kind of wood you use for the hoop or what kind of hide you use. Then in addition to that, how many holes you use to string it is going to set up some sacred geometry. Do you also use like paintings and drawings on the drum itself to bring in some of this energy?
Yes. When I first started, I used to do a lot of painting into them because the drums were calling for it. Mm-hmm. As I was making it, I would see this painting on this drum, and inevitably the person because every time I make a drum, even today, I'm already making it for its owner. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I know that they will connect, and they do, and
It's fun to watch too, isn't it? It's like it's like this adoption process.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. People show up at my house, saying, I think you have my drum. And I would just invite them in. And as soon as I saw them, I knew which one was their drum. And it always turned out that way. It's amazing.
Are you when the drum is drying, okay, so just for our listeners, the hide is soaked and strung wet and then tightens after it's been strung, and as it dries, it tightens. Are you real mindful about what the drum's exposed to during that delicate time?
Oh, yes, absolutely. You know, I don't want to expose it to any kind of heat. It's very important, to me that they dry naturally. And every couple hours or what, I rotate. I check them and I rotate them so that the side that was down where all the water is, because I lean them against the wall and the water drains down. So then I turn the drum and then the wet part is up on top and then the water drains down again. And as it's doing this, it's drying, even.
Right. So and naturally too.
Yes.
So why do you think that people recognize the drums? What do you think is going on there?
Well, it's so ancient, and it's us. It's when we're in the womb, what are we listening to? It's mom's heartbeat, right? Mm-hmm. So I mean, we come from it. It is who we are. It's part of Earth Mother. It's part of nature. It's, we are vibrational beings, and the drum brings home that vibration that we are.
It's interesting, even though we've gotten away from the traditional drums, the ceremonial drums, they play such a strong part in every culture. It's like we have, they drum to go to war. We have the Celtic bagpipes with the drums in the background. And now we have rock and roll music or, that heavy drum beat in the background. It feels like we're trying to get back to something. What are we trying to get back to?
I believe that we are attempting to find ourselves, This is the search that everybody is looking for is, who am I? Why am I? And the drum is so ancient and it is who we are. This is why, the first time I went to a powwow, I literally had to just sit down and start crying because that drum hit me that hard, That connection was so powerful.
Mm-hmm. Would you speak to how the drum also connects us to each other?
Yes, because as you talked about in drumming, and it is so true, when I hold my drumming circles, I start slow with everybody. I say, just follow my rhythm. And we all start drumming together, the same rhythm. And then I instruct them. And as soon as you feel, you want to do something a little different, go ahead. All you need to do is just stay within that same beat, whether you want to speed it up or slow it down. But inevitably, when everybody gets on the same heartbeat, when we all become one, is when it just, whoom, you can hear that. I have a live drumming CD that I recorded, and you can hear it, you can feel it,
Right,
it's very powerful.
Now, all of your CDs are available on your website. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, great, and that's yolandasdrums.com.
Yes.
Yeah. So, when we're in a drum circle and all of a sudden everything just kind of comes together, and like I said, I've been involved in studies where actually people's hearts start beating together. Why do you think that is? Well, unless they have a pacemaker. Otherwise, everybody synchronizes. It's very strange. Why do you think that is, and what effect do you think that has on us?
Well, one of the oldest teachings and sayings is, we are one. And I believe that this happens because we are one. We are one collective. This is why, like myself, we tap into the collective because, as I said, we're energy, we're vibration. And that when we understand this, and it's so important, especially, today with the planet, what it's going through and all of that, to not get caught in that collective, to learn how to ride that wave instead of getting caught in the muck. And I think when we understand that we are one, that we do tap into each other, whether we realize it or not. This is why we have such a strong effect on others. If you're happy and, people come to you, you notice that they get happy. Their energy goes up and they're smiling. But if you're depressed and stuff and people come to you, then they end up getting depressed. If that's not a sign right there of how we are one and we do affect each other.
Well, it's time for another short pause. I'm having so much fun here. It just rushes on me. But Yolanda and I will return to our discussion on the other side of this break. So you stay right there. Don't miss all the wonderful things we have to offer on our website, your resource for creative solutions in a changing world, thescienceofmagic.net. This is The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net.
From our broadcast studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, to the world and beyond, you're watching the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net.
AVS Media Demo.
The scientist and the mystic have been on an age-old, relentless search with one thing in common. They seek truth. Their paths converge in the 40,000-year-old practice of shamanism, an ancient science delving to the quantum level of life, facilitating healing, manifestation, and evolution. I'm Gwilda Wiyaka, the founder and director of Path Home Shamanic Arts School, a unique Colorado State-certified occupational school, training shamanic practitioners and teachers. We also provide classes for empowering personal lives through shamanism. Our certification classes are in week-long segments enabling international participation, and online classes and long-distance shamanic healing sessions are available. Come discover the science of magic in the limitless world of shamanism. www.findyourpathhome.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365. Rob McConnell here, presenting an overview for Nicholas Paul Jennings, author of a fascinating book, Amen. It presents facts revealed by Egyptologists, facts that enable us to understand why Amen is the beginning of creation of God. It provides recommendations for religious leaders of the major religions to unify their beliefs and teach the Word of God. Love one another. Amen informs people how mankind conceived God. It was the Egyptians that developed the concepts of a soul, a hereafter, and Son of God. And finally, after the worship of many gods, they conceived the belief in one universal God, the maker of all there is. For more information, visit www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com.
Welcome back. This is the Science of Magic, a place where magic and science come together to promote enlightenment. If you enjoy all the wonderful topics on our program, visit my blog where the adventure continues at our website, thescienceofmagic.net. I'm your host, Gwilda Wiyaka, and we're speaking with master drum maker Yolanda Martinez. She's an artist, composer, award-winning singing-songwriter, and international performer and spiritual teacher. Her website, where all her music can be found, is yolandasdrums.com. Yolanda, we were talking about drum circles, and this is just a fascinating thing. I've, as you can tell, worked with them a lot. But what happens when we get our hearts entrained, we're all beating the same beat, what happens if we also agree on an intent for the session?
Oh, that is very powerful. This is why when I hold my drum circles and, I teach people that whenever you get in circle, whether you're drumming or whatever it is, I feel and I believe that we need to set an intention because it's very powerful. If you set an intention, you're not just, making music and stuff. That energy goes out, and I totally believe that it connects with people, with things that need it, for healing or whatever. So I'm big on setting intentions, especially if you're doing drumming.
How about permission? I mean, I know a lot of times people have a prayer circle and they'll mean well, but they kind of make an agenda instead of just intent that involves somebody else. How do you work with that with a drum circle?
Well, when I set an intention, this is for the world to go out to, the people that need it, enlightening. Light is information. So we send out light to go around the world, And as far as personal, I feel we do need permission, for anything personal, because, we have no business getting into other people's business, whether it's energetically or whatever. But I'm big on making sure that I have permission or that people have permission.
So like a drum circle is like praying with a jet strapped to it, right?
Yeah, right. I like that.
Let's talk a little bit about the healing power of the drum. What can you tell us about that?
Well, I do healings with my drums, and Spirit taught me that as well. And it's because, as I mentioned earlier, we are vibration. We are vibrational beings. And when I drum people, you can feel your cells and your whole being. People have told me it feels like my cells were being rearranged. This is the power of the drum. It's vibration, using vibration to shift energy, to clear energy, to clear blocks.
So it's using a mechanical wave to either shatter incompatible frequencies or enhance compatible ones?
Yes, I believe so.
Mm-hmm. What changes have you seen in people when you're doing drum healing? How can you tell that it's working?
Well, when I start, I always do like a counseling to find out what's going on with them. Where are they energetically? You have to know who and what you're treating. It's like going to even a doctor, they want to know, okay, what's going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I do, the first, 20 minutes or whatever time I need, to counsel, to have them share with me, where are you? Why are you here? And what are you working on? And then I start drumming them from the head down. And when I start, their energy is low, the energy is down, they're depressed, and they feel like they're carrying the world on their shoulders. And after I'm done, you can just see them lighten up. Mm. You just see that.
When you say drumming them, do you beat the drum with the inside facing the person?
Yes.
That's what you mean by drumming them?
Yes.
And what kind of a beat do you use?
I just use a straight beat,
Mm-hmm.
Just doon,
the heartbeat.
Doon,
Mm-hmm.
doon, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I can, as I'm drumming them, the energy, I see where they need, places that they need more attention. And, I start from the head, I do all four sides, of
mm-hmm.
the body. And I start from the head all the way down to the floor, their feet, and then back up. And then I turn, I circle clockwise and do each side of the...
Why clockwise?
I do everything clockwise,
Mm-hmm.
That, to me, from the very beginning when I started working with my drums, everything, the way I cut them, the way I mark them, everything is clockwise. If you go counterclockwise, then you're moving against, it's like paddling up the river. Right.
Right. You're moving against the way the earth spins.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. What's the difference between a drum that's a shamanic tool and a personal drum?
The person, how you want to use your tool. It's what we make it, right? We are the creators of our lives. If somebody orders, a lot of people say, well, I want a drum because I want to use it in my healing, or I want to use it in my shamanism and stuff. To me, all these tools are sacred if we make them such. Or it can be just a toy, a play to have fun. And, it's all what we create, what we make of them.
So you attune the drum to the person rather than the purpose?
Yes.
And then they purpose the drum?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense to me. Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
This might seem a little off topic, but you refer to walking in a sacred way. What do you mean by that?
Well, to walk in a sacred way for me is to walk honoring life, honoring Earth Mother, honoring all animals, all people, to walk in beauty. It's for me being, when people say, well, I'm Native American. Well, being Native American is a way of life. It's not just a title. It's a way of life.
Is it a way of life that you have to be native blood to walk, or is it something that a person can adopt?
No, I don't believe you have to be of native blood. We are all one. We are all here on our Earth Mother. We are all experiencing the same thing. I don't believe that anything was made just for one race. I never have. That's never made sense to me. And I know that there's a lot of people that disagree with that. But this is the way Spirit has taught me.
When a person picks up a drum, Yolanda, say they purchase one of your drums that you've built and you know it's a good match, and they start playing their drum, are there some changes that start happening in the individual just as a result of having their drum and playing it?
I would believe so. Don't you?
I've seen them, but I just wondered what your experience was with it.
Yes, yeah. I mean, these are powerful, wonderful tools, And if we connect with them, I mean, they can totally transform our lives. They did for me.
So how much does a person's intent for their life have to do with how the drum helps transform it?
I think it's all about intent.
So again, the drum is just the amplifier.
Absolutely. It's a tool. But we are the creators. We are the ones that make it so with our intention.
Comes back down to personal responsibility, doesn't it?
Yes. Yep.
I have just about a minute left in this segment. What can you tell us about drumming and earth connection?
Wow. Well, it's one. It's in the same thing, you know. When the gift of the drum came, you know, what it showed me and taught me was that this was going to be a way for us to connect with ourselves, to connect with Earth Mother, and to connect us back with nature.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Why do you think that's so?
Because it's so ancient and raw, and, you know, nothing synthetic about it. Drumming is so deep.
Is there a rhythm that the earth itself has that you start synchronizing with?
Yes, the heartbeat. The heartbeat.
Boy, it all goes back to the heart. Amazing.
Yes.
Well, it sounds like we're going to need to take another quick break, but Yolanda and I will be back shortly. So don't you leave us now. This is The Science of Magic with Wilda Vieca. Our executive producer is Rob McConnell, and we're on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net.
You have heard of the X-Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, Sci-Fi, and Horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
The new nonfiction book, Razor of Madness, is similar to cult movies like Clockwork Orange, Dragon's Tattoo, or The Other Side of Hell. Wayne Morin Jr. and Thomas Lee Howe will expose widespread and systematic deficiencies in this thought-provoking tell-all novel. Mind control rages among scholars in law schools. Human rights are ignored while thought reform and mental manipulation are accepted practices used as behavior modification. Dr. Louis Jolyon West comes to mind. Media and public scrutiny shows that United States mental hospitals are in fact destructive murder industries. Razor of Madness expose novel details this epidemic through an in-depth professional and personal investigation. For decades, there has been a revolving door policy that still releases killers and pedophiles back into society. The maestro of mind control continues to haunt America to this very day. Razor of Madness is available in paperback or as a downloadable ebook at Amazon.com.
I'm William S. Peckham. If you enjoy a good mystery with a touch of the paranormal, then you'll love my novel, From Out of the Woodwork. It's the story of a young Toronto contractor, Sean Kennedy, who buys derelict homes, guts them, and turns them into multifamily dwellings. Slums just waiting to happen. When Sean buys 29 Livery Lane, the house fights back. Former owners unexpectedly come out of the woodwork as he starts the destruction. The apparitions come to him when he touches old books, reads hidden letters, rummages through old boxes, finds a locket, or reads a discovered manuscript of a murder mystery. From Out of the Woodwork will take you from 1899 to the horror of the World Trade Center, September 11, 2001. check out From Out of the Woodwork on my website, www.williamspeckham.com.
Welcome back. This is the Science of Magic, bringing together gifted people of service to the world. I'm your host, Gwilda Wiyaka. What perks your interest? I always love to hear from my listeners. Email me at info@thescienceofmagic.net and suggest a topic or a guest that's on your mind. I'm sure we'll all enjoy hearing from them. Our guest this hour is spiritual teacher, singer-songwriter, and master drum maker, Yolanda Martinez. Her website, yolandasdrums.com. So let's talk a little bit about the connection between drumming and dreaming.
Oh, okay. When I finally accepted the gift of the drum and surrendered and started making the drums, then shortly after is when Spirit says, that I needed to work with the women, that I needed to open their eyes to the fact that the menses, the giveaway, the monthly giveaway was more than just, the rag, the, period and all of that. So I said, okay. And I started with 12 women in my little house in outside of Modesto, California. And I explained to them what I wanted to do, and they were all on board. So I started the Central Valley Moon Lodge circles. And from those 12 women, in about a year and a half, it grew to over 300 women. And we were gathering during the solstices and the equinoxes, and we were all dreaming together throughout the whole San Joaquin Valley. We were dreaming together.
Now, do you mean dreaming during the drum circles, or do you mean dreaming at night and then getting together and finding commonality?
No, when I say dreaming together is every new moon, because this was about empowering women, and one thing that I still stress today, that it's not about anybody following me or, anything like that. All of this is about empowering each other. That is so important in today's world. And so what I insisted that everybody would come and gather at my little house in the backyard. I would take them on a dreaming journey with the drum. And we would gather every new moon. And then pretty soon, the whole key to everything was they were supposed to start their own moon lodges where they were. And this is how it started growing and growing. And
so was this dream? Are you talking that the dreaming was like drumming and using guided meditation?
No, what I would do is, I would instruct them that they could travel to the underworld, deep inside Earth Mother, or they could travel up to the crystal cities, and they would journey.
Okay, so you're talking about a shamanic journey trance.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And pretty soon, everybody was dreaming the same thing. They were seeing the same thing in their journeys. This is how powerful this was.
Even though they aren't talking them out loud, when you come back, you report that?
Yes, I had. If people wanted to, they could share what they saw, the information they got, and stuff. And what we found was we were all receiving and seeing the same messages.
So, where did you train shamanically, Yolanda?
No, I just started doing it myself, and with close friends and stuff. And it's about going within and learning to open the heart, the mind, and allowing Spirit to enter and take you on these journeys. I started being able to do out-of-body journeys. And, this is within all of us. This is something that is natural within all of us.
But when you start guiding other people, then you're kind of taking on a larger responsibility, aren't you? How can you be comfortable doing that if you haven't been trained?
Well, what I did was told, I guided them that how to go into Earth Mother through a safe place, that maybe a tree with a hole or a cave that they had been to or something safe, and they were not allowed to touch anything or bring anything back. The crystal cities, you just journey in the mind up to the clouds and see what you see and what you find, what comes to you. So this is all spiritual,
Right. So you're journeying with your awareness, not going on a physical journey. Did you ever study with the Foundation for Shamanic Studies? Okay.
No.
It sounds, the reason I ask is because what you're describing sounds like what they call upper world and lower world. So the crystal city would be upper world, and the going down the tree would be lower world. So when you're using the drums, how do you think the drums help to access this altered state of consciousness?
Well, again, it's the vibration. It totally puts us in a higher state of mind and vibration. I think this is how they help.
So are you aware of any studies that have been done that see if there are physiological changes?
I'm sure there are. I mean, there's so many people that were writing books that contacted me and, wanted to use my information and stuff. I mean, I read a lot of books when I was, coming into all of this about the soul retrieval, as you mentioned, and the shamanic journeying. And, I mean, there was so much coming out and so much available. And, it's about educating ourselves. And as I mentioned, I totally believe that this is all within all of us. It's how far do you want to explore? How far do you want to take your journey?
So you're also a singer-songwriter. Where do your songs come from?
From spirit, from life experiences,
Can you explain to me, we've been talking about spirit for about an hour now. What do you mean by spirit?
The all that is. To me, spirit is the all that is. It's also our higher self. It's our helpers, our guides, our totems, To me, when I hear that little voice inside of me that's guiding, for myself, that's my higher self. My higher self is the one that is sitting up there, connected to spirit, connected to God, Goddess, the all that is. And so she knows better than I do down here, and she can see further. I may get a little voice saying, you don't want to go that way, Maybe there's an accident, maybe there's something that I don't want to get involved in, so I don't go that way. It's about paying attention.
So it's paying attention to your intuition, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So do you work with traditional native songs as well as the ones that you write?
Yes, I have, other songs that people share and, but mostly my songs.
Why is that?
Because, and if I use somebody else's song, of course, first thing I do is get permission.
Mm-hmm, right.
My songs, I know where they came from, the energy within them and behind them, and I just feel more comfortable.
Okay, I get it. So would you speak to the healing power of song?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, music is the one of the universal languages, and it's uplifting. It's vibrational, again, to the vibration. It's healing words. This is why I don't listen to the radio. I don't watch TV. I have my television is a smart TV, so I watch YouTube and movies, that I choose from Amazon. But music can be so healing, and this is why it can also be very deterrent and not good for you, especially our children, with the words and they put good rhythm and all of that into these terrible words.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. We're about out of time. What do you see as the future of drumming? How can it benefit us today?
Well, again, it's who we are, and one of my missions is to get as many drums as I can into people's hands. And this is why I started the Yolanda's certification school. I'm training people that want to become drum makers to be able
and
to.
I'm sure we are out of time. I'm sure they can find that on your website, which is yolandadrums.com.
Absolutely.
Time is sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear. Time has flown and we're out of it. Our guest this hour has been master drum maker Yolanda Martinez. She's an artist, composer, award-winning singer-songwriter, international performer, and spiritual teacher. Her website, yolandasdrums.com. Remember to join our email family to stay abreast of the exciting new things we have coming up at thescienceofmagic.net. This has been The Science of Magic with Wilda Wiecka on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net. Until next time, dear ones, may you be blessed with knowledge and comfort with love as you drum to awaken your soul.
One people, one nation, coming from the stars. One people, one nation, to heal this earth of ours.
Modern Esoteric, Beyond Our Senses by Brad Olson, consummates the lifeology story about where humanity originates. It is the lost continents, the primitive wisdom, the mythos of creation, and the rethinking of ancient history as we are taught in academia. There is much more to the story than what we have been told. As this is the first book in the Esoteric series, Modern Esoteric starts at the beginning of time and accelerates up to this modern age. Future Esoteric is book 2 in the series and takes a forward-looking position ahead of today with an open and honest examination of the ET issue and various unexplained phenomena. To discover the writings of author Brad Olson, visit www.bradolson.com. That's www.bradolson.com. Are you or is someone you know struggling with addictions, depression, anxiety, relationships, low self-esteem, lack of confidence, grief, success, and prosperity? Do you know that your subconscious belief plays a big role in the outcome of your hard work? We can help you permanently change the beliefs that may be the reason for your struggles and failures. We care about getting you the return on your investment and the results you are looking for. We can help you be free of the limitations of your past and in realizing your highest potential. We work with people by phone and Skype. For more information, visit us at www.ritasoman.com. That's www.ritasoman.com. Do you think you have energy problems in your home? Do you feel better when you're away than when you're home? Joey Korn is a global leader in the world of dowsing who specializes in personal energy clearing and space clearing. He can help you create an ideal energy environment in your home no matter where you live in the world. Learn about his remote spiritual house cleaning services and much more at www.dowsers.com. You can get Joey's book, Dowsing, A Path to Enlightenment, as well as other dowsing books and tools, Kabbalah books, and Walter Russell books. Joey's work is really amazing. Go to dowsers.com right now. That's DOWSERS.com or call 1-877-DOWSING. That's 1-877-369-7464.